Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about the Hampback Ace 307 drum kit, electric drum kit. Now, as a warning, I was not actually sent the entire 307 drum kit. Hampback sent me the Ace 301 drum set, and then they also sent me the Ace 307 module, which, to my knowledge, is the only difference between the two kits. So I am still effectively reviewing the 307 set. However, that's just a disclaimer I had to throw out there, and because of that, I can't do an unboxing and setup review or anything like that, though I wouldn't expect it to be too awful much more different than the 301 set. If you are interested in a video like that, I should have it linked in the description below. And also because of that, most of the information is going to be very similar from the 301 video if you had seen that one. There is going to be some slight differences due to being able to review this kit with more longevity, more time spent with it, but yeah, a lot of the hardware stuff is going to be very similar. So let's actually get to the information. The drum pads have clamps molded and attached to the pads. They also feature this fixed wing screw design, which I actually find to be pretty cool and useful since it prevents parts from getting loose, falling from the kit, and getting lost in the process. I do not know about the long-term effectiveness of the clamp design when referring to how well it keeps everything tight, and by that I mean like over the course of a year rather than, the few months that I have actually had it now. And like just said, I have had this kit for a few months now, and I just recently set it back up for this review, and everything is still tight and keeps itself in place. The clamps are meant to be received on these kind of protector looking things. I am unaware of what these protectors actually are for though. My suspicion is that they are meant to try and dampen the shock and vibration on the frame of the kit to prevent other pads from triggering when hitting another, though these are still not 100% effective for that purpose. The included tom drum pads are not capable of rim shots, though if you do hit the rim by mistake, they often will cause the closest cymbal pad to trigger. Hampback is aware of this issue and are trying to work on a solution, though of course this issue will become less relevant for you personally as your playing technique improves, and in a way this can be seen as sort of a training feature rather than a bug. This can also be combated in the settings, as the module lets you adjust a wide variety of settings, including the sensitivity and threshold of the pads. Now is a good time to talk about the actual pads themselves. All the pad drum heads are a tight mesh style and have an open construction at the bottom. I have still not been able to test to see how this construction compares volume-wise to other construction styles, but they do seem on the quieter side compared to some other pads that I've played before. The kit comes with 3 8-inch hard rim pads meant to be your toms and 1 8-inch rubber rimmed pad meant to be your snare. This allows for the snare to have rim shots and cross-sticking sounds available, though not at the same time. They are just separate sounds available on separate sound kits, and both sounds can be activated the same way in rim shot position or cross-sticking position. The module has an expansion slot to accommodate a 4th tom drum pad. There is currently not a drum expansion kit available, so I am unaware of what will be included in the kit, but hopefully it will have all of the appropriate mounting hardware, including an extra one of those little mounting ring things. The cymbal stands come with mounts to be mounted onto the rack. They can fairly easily be repositioned to accommodate different playing styles, as I have changed my ride to be further to my right compared to in the 301 video. These mounts do come as your average drum key style clamps though, rather than the fixed wing screw style like on the drum pads themselves. The stand poles have a lot of length compared to many others I've seen, and have a bent style on the top, allowing them to be pushed back while maintaining proper playing and mounting angle. Though depending on who you are, this can be seen as less of a feature and more of a bug. Personally, I like to see it and think it gets this kit just a little bit closer to playing like a real full-size acoustic kit. Speaking of which, these stands are complemented by the slightly larger 10-inch cymbal pads. This kit comes with 3 interchangeable cymbal pads for your hi-hat, crash, and ride cymbals, which are all chokeable, meaning you can cut off the sound by pinching the pad. The cymbals are also dual zone, meaning that you can play 2 different sounds by hitting either the edge of the cymbal or the bow, meaning the upper body of the cymbal. The cymbals seem to have a rubber coating over most of the cymbal other than this hard line, which notably divides the cymbal into 2 separate halves. So while the upper end of the cymbal seems protected, there is an obvious end that is meant to be played, having seemingly better rubber padding and the sensor for choking the cymbal, which the other half does not have. Compared to the MK0 kit, that one had fully playable cymbals that had protective rubber padding over the entire playable area of the cymbal, but they didn't have the choking capabilities and were smaller. While the cymbal stand ends are designed for Hampback's cymbals and have an oval design, they are more versatile compared to their ultra-beginner MK0 kit, and have hardware which will be more accommodating for other brands of cymbals, allowing for more versatility when it comes to replacements when necessary. This applies to all of the stands included on this kit, compared to the MK0 kit, which only had the hi-hat stand theoretically be compatible with most other brands of cymbals. The module also has an expandable slot for allowing a second crash cymbal to be added to the kit. There's currently not a cymbal expansion kit available either, so I am unaware of what will be included in that kit as well. Hopefully it also will have the appropriate mounting hardware, but at least you can get cymbal stands a little more readily than solutions for the toms. The kit comes with a kick pad that has a super durable and hard pad surface that boasts 22 million beats tested in a durability test. One strange thing is that the pad surface seems a bit more malleable now when I press on it. It seemed stiffer before, but I don't know if I was just pushing on it differently then, but it definitely seems different and softer now. It's a bit weird. The frame of the pad has the average spikes to place into carpet. It also has a strip of Velcro to improve the placement stability as well. Everything else about it is also good and to be expected. The frame is mostly metal and strong. The jack isn't in an awkward placement at all, and the frame also has this sort of lock lip to fasten your kick pedal to the pad, as many other units should and usually have. The pad is compatible with most, if not all, other single beater kick pedals. The pad diameter is not wide enough to actively support double bass drum playing, if that would be something you were interested in. You may be able to finagle a pedal into working, but it will not work well with many, if not all, existing double bass drum pedals. Another option would be to get a different kick drum pad, but most single units of these pads that I have found have been premium and pretty expensive. The kit comes with a fully featured single kick pedal to play the pad. The branding is blatant, but if you can get past that, it's a sturdy and decently slick looking and functioning pedal. It comes with a slot for the beater that is adjustable like any other, and a hard plastic beater with no carpeted side. A soft carpeted side could theoretically extend the lifespan of your kick pad due to the impact being softer, though this also often results in a quieter signal being sent to the module. This also shouldn't be as big of an issue based on the sales material and material choice and construction choice for this kick pad, though I'm a little suspicious now with that more soft feeling pad, but anyway, moving on. The pedal foot surface is mostly smooth with some gritty texture in the design, though the grit is not enough for it to be a notable feature, I would say. Whether this is bad or not is up to preference. Personally, I can go either way. And since it has some texturing and I play without shoes, it's fine to me. It also has a toe stopper at the end of the foot surface, which can be a nice little addition sometimes. As stated before, this pedal is fully featured and has all of the settings and adjusters that most pedals come with. One strange fact of note is that the bottom stability wire does not fit properly into the slots on the sides that look like they are for that piece to connect to. I contacted the company about this and they said that they have not corrected this because they have not had any complaints about it, and it results in a better price for them, probably due to not having to pay extra attention to that tolerance. And to their credit, once the pedal is placed, it is very stable and I had no issue using my pedal. The only downside I noticed is that you couldn't pull the entire pedal assembly closer to you by grabbing the heel end of the foot area, which is a very minor trade-off for getting this decent of a pedal. So I do not consider this a bug, I just wanted to mention it as an observation. But actually I did have a kind of difference and sort of playing problem with this pedal this time around. The pedal was rebounding more on occasion, resulting in sort of a stuttering activation of the kick sounds, since I bury the beater typically. This also may have been caused by that strange feel difference I had in the kick pad surface, so this may not have anything to do with the pedal in actuality. This could also come down to a difference in the way that I am playing, but I haven't done anything that would lead me to change things up and having this difference happen to my knowledge. I honestly don't think that that's the problem here. I put a little more pressure on playing the pedal and it helps reduce the frequency of this issue happening, but it is just a strange anomaly that was kind of out of place for me personally. The pedal itself doesn't have any skid resistant material on the bottom and puts that responsibility on whatever it's connected to. It does have a semi-hollow design on the bottom, so that may help with skidding on carpet as well though. The hi-hat control pedal has great construction and is larger than I expected. It's around the same size as the kick pedal. The foot surface is basically the same as the kick pedal, including the toe stopper. The module does allow for a half-closed hi-hat sound, so I don't know if the module will be compatible with all hi-hat pedal controllers because of this, but in my experience they aren't usually what needs replacing very often, so hopefully that won't be an issue. Initially, I thought there was an issue with the hi-hat controller tolerance settings. When I first tried experimenting with the half-open hi-hat sounds, I couldn't get them to activate reliably and in a timely manner for actually using them while playing, without having some sound fumbling. So eventually, I found that in the utility menu, there is an HH option with a hi-hat symbol. This is the hi-hat control section. I went in here and tried adjusting these settings, and they immediately set themselves to the max values, and wouldn't let me use the dial or buttons to change the values. Now it turns out this is by design. Instead of using the dial to adjust the setting when it is selected, you use the hi-hat controller pedal to change the value to the place that you think feels right. Then you hit enter to confirm the position and setting. Now I have to give it to them that this is a clever and better way of setting this setting. The only problem is that I really didn't have a way to know that this was how you adjust this setting initially. I'll give it to them that at least they have a section for the hi-hat control this time in their digital user manual, unlike the one that came with the 301 kit, but it still doesn't actually say to use the pedal to adjust the settings. It even says that the buttons should work in this instance, but they mean that you can adjust the type setting with the buttons, but the others just don't work with them. You have to set the value using the pedal and confirm it using the enter button, which they don't mention. So while they are closer to getting this instruction right, they still missed a crucial step, which may even make this even more confusing with the instruction that is there. The only reason I know how this works is because of my knowledge from the previous kit and talking to the company, having them tell me that this is how it is on the previous model in the first place. So again, they are closer to getting this right, but not close enough, I would say, and I think that this is still going to trip people up if they haven't watched this video or similar ones. But hey, you have watched this video, so at least now you know. I am unsure if this module could accept firmware updates if necessary. It probably won't need any updates, but this module does seem like it has better networking included since it includes Bluetooth. Hampback has been slow about replying to my messages lately, so unfortunately, I can't confirm or deny this. It's still cool to see that a kit of this price point has half-open sounds for the hi-hat though. I'm not always a fan of the provided sounds, but it's still an ability that not even my nicer, though older, Roland V-Drum kit has. The main pads connect to the module through a snake or squid. The cord lengths seem like they provide more than enough length for most kit setups. The cords also feel a bit beefier compared to the MK0 kit's squid. It connects via a serial port that seems a little wider than usual from what I've seen from other electric drum kits, so I am unsure if there is a purchasable replacement option available if needed. Both of the pad expansion ports connect by what look to be standard instrument cables. You may need a stereo instrument cable for the cymbal to take advantage of the dual zone capability, but I cannot confirm that. The module power connects through a DC connector and power brick. The brick is a 2-prong outlet design, but unfortunately I found that the cord length is a little short. I measured the length from where the actual cord portion begins and ends, not including the brick or plug, and it's about 45 inches, which is around 3 3/4 feet or 1.14 meters long. The module has two options for outputting sound. There are two 1/4 instrument style connections for general mono output and stereo out via left and right separate connections. I was going to use the mono output from these jacks to record the sound, however it appears that the power filtering on those jacks are not very good, unfortunately. There was some digital anomalies that I only discovered while trying to set up this recording, which is very unfortunate. Like I said, Hampback is being slow about replying to me, so I have not been able to troubleshoot this yet, but instead I used an adapter from the headphone jack, converting it into an instrument style cable so that I could plug it into my audio interface. And the headphone jack has perfect output, no extra noise or anything like that, so at least I was able to get that done. One theory that I have is that since I was only using the mono sound, maybe the open right signal stereo jack was picking up extra airwaves, signals, that sort of stuff, and maybe that was introducing it into the sound. Maybe they didn't properly construct that exactly right. I may have more details about that later, but maybe not. I don't know. It also would come down to me remembering to add it in a comment or something like that. The module actually has a standard 1/8 auxiliary style jack for the headphone output, like I said with the adapter. 301 module had an instrument jack style and needed an adapter to use the average headphones and such. This one does not need that adapter. which is really ironic how I needed an adapter to convert the standard headphone jack back into the instrument style jack in this instance. That's kind of funny. You can input external audio into the module using a standard 1/8 auxiliary jack as well. This module has MIDI capabilities that I'm not fully sure of how to use. It has standard MIDI in and out. I understand the MIDI out use, but I don't know why you would input MIDI into the module. Maybe someone could explain that one to me. It also still includes the ability to use MIDI through USB capability though. The interface has gotten a little more complex, though I don't think it's too complex to understand. It just puts more of the utilities more readily available at all times. First of all the buttons, knobs, and now faders all feel good. This module does not suffer from the minor inverted plus and minus button issue that the other modules have had so far, since it uses a pure directional pad layout for those style of interactions. Another plus for this upgraded module. Like on the more basic version of the kit, most of the buttons access their own menu or functions, though like said before, there are just more features readily available on this model. Some of the settings menu layouts and locations of settings within them can be a little confusing, but it can be gotten used to and learned. Another small improvement is that the select button is called enter rather than return on this model. I don't use Mac computers, so this isn't a common term for confirm or enter for me personally. One of the most obvious changes is the inclusion of faders for the sound groups, so you can easily and quickly tweak the level mix of your kit on the fly. Now this is a cool feature, though it may be more of a curse than a blessing, but we will talk more about that in a little bit. The module has 52 sound sets and 20 more extra user savable slots. All sound kits can be edited though, including the base 52. Unfortunately, the sounds seem to be a little all over the place when it comes to the volume. I don't know if they purposefully got lax with the level mastering between the kits because of the inclusion of the faders, but when one kit's volume and mix is just right, the next can be wildly different. The module comes with 918 total sounds available in it. The module also has 15 preloaded songs to practice along with. These are MIDI songs granted, but this kit has an option to toggle on and off the recorded drums, piano, bass, and auxiliary instruments. Some of these songs seem pretty decent to practice along with. Some are pretty out there. Unfortunately, many songs have a lot of auxiliary instruments lumped into that category, as well as auxiliary percussion instruments. So even when you turn off the recorded drums, there are still often bongos, splash cymbals, and other rhythmic tools still included unless you turn off the uncategorized instruments, which can sometimes take out a lot of the meat of the song. Whether this is good or bad is more of a preference, but I would have liked to see more categories toggleable since they went as far as to program these features in the first place. Also, song 10 is heavy as frick, or at least as heavy as more cheesy MIDI songs can sound. The songs can be turned on and off at any time using the play button, and the song settings can be adjusted by using the song button. The module also, of course, has a metronome. This can be turned on and off at any time with the click button, which click is a musician term for metronome for those who don't know. The tempo button allows you to access the metronome adjustment settings, including the tempo, time signature, volume, types of sounds for the metronome, and a little more, I think. The funny thing is that by default, the sound type is voice, which I was not used to or ready for.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Then there are again a variety of settings and effects like the room type, reverb, tone, EQs, and more. A new function compared to the last module is the coach button. This brings up a menu where you can access a couple rhythm exercise programs. The first, I'm not sure what it's actually called normally, but the module calls it warm, I assume as a warm-up. It progresses through a few different rhythm types at a selected tempo. As far as I can tell, there is no feedback on if you are doing it right or wrong, so since I am not familiar with the exercise, since I am mostly self-taught, I don't even know how I'm supposed to follow the exercise. Next one is called Quiet, and it's simply following the metronome. But the metronome shuts off for a period, then comes back on to see if you are still holding the beat properly. This exercise has feedback when you stop it, and it says your accuracy rating. However, it seems like you have to play exactly to the beats. Either that or I suck at keeping time, because my best score I was able to get was around 50%. Though I think I keep setting the settings wrong for how I actually want to play, and there is no live feedback as you are doing it. It only tells you how bad you did at the end, and the count-in is almost always too slow. I can't tell if it speeds up when you turn the tempo up, but I don't think so, and it just doesn't lead in well in my opinion, which can throw off the results.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Another new feature is the record function. It can record your drums solo or with one of the included songs. Even though it's called recording, it doesn't seem to really record exactly what's happening with the effects and all. Instead, it seems to be creating a MIDI map and saving the accompanied data. That's fine and all, it just wasn't what I was expecting. This also probably means that you can't save a recording with an externally input song in the recording. And as far as I can tell from what I am seeing in the manual, there isn't a way to export the recordings, even if they are just the MIDI maps rather than an audio recording. Now, this is when I would talk about the accessories that came with the kit, but obviously I didn't receive the entire kit itself. So there may be differences between this and 301 kit, I just wouldn't know. I can only talk about what came with the 301 kit for sure. So first of all, there is the drum key. It's a required tool to fasten a lot of the tighteners, but I wanted to talk about it because I really like the style that it went with the moving grip. Most others are solid, but this one can move side to side and get into some areas that others can't, and give you a little extra leverage in some situations. I just really like this kind of drum key and wish more brands went with it when they included one. Next is a set of 5A drumsticks. These are actually Hampback branded, interestingly, and I will be personally keeping these as sort of a trophy collector's item. It looks like Hampback doesn't sell drumsticks separately, so it's a little interesting and weird that they even bothered to actually brand the sticks. The last thing is the headphones. I didn't get a set of headphones in my box, and most likely neither will you. They said due to packing constraints, which the box was packed very tightly and neatly, which I have another video about, the unboxing and setup of the 301 in the description if you want to see that. So due to not being able to properly fit them in the box and keep the packing as tight and solid as they had, they do not include them by default. However, you can still message them about a complimentary pair of headphones with proof of purchase if you would like, and they will send you the headphones separately. If you do really want the headphones, I would suggest that you do this right after you place the order. Just get a screenshot with the important info confirming that you made the purchase without showing your unnecessary personal information, mind you, and message them through Amazon or hopefully wherever else you place the order from. I hope they wouldn't have an issue with messaging them at that point, but they may still want you to wait till the package is actually delivered or something like that. I just wouldn't know. I do not have a pair of the headphones, but I presume that the model may vary with time anyway. The set I got with the MK0 kit is different from what the marketing material showed, and they told me to add that caveat to those videos, so anything I said about the headphones may have been subject to change anyway. My assumption is that they would be okay. They probably would sound decent with the kit, but maybe a little off when listening to other sources, and the comfortability would probably be passable. The materials would probably feel cheap, but they wouldn't be painful or fatiguing to wear, at least with the first few months of use. But this is of course all speculation, and if you have purchased this kit and requested the headphones, let me know how they turned out. An additional thing is more of an observation, which is that a throne is not included, so you will need to supply your own stool or chair. But that is all the information that I have about this kit. So in conclusion, the hardware is nice. The programming is still a little quirky, but typically works. The sounds are decent, though they included a lot more electronica sounds this time around, which isn't bad, just different. So I think this kit is pretty neat. It's got a lot to offer more experienced drummers and beginners alike. I still wouldn't say it's professional, but it gives you a lot of good stuff to work with. I don't have much more information directly about the 307 kit, however I have some more videos about the 301 kit that may provide some useful and crossoverable information like the unboxing and setup. So if that sounds interesting to you, I should have it linked in the description, so please go check that out. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I talk about guitar, drums, 3D printing, among other things as well on this channel. If you are going to purchase this kit, I have an affiliate link in the description. Please use it because it adds no cost to you and it helps me out. There are probably other ways to support me in the description as well, so please consider giving it a look. That's all I have to say for now, so I'm going to say bye-bye.